Hello, beautiful friends. It's Erica. Today happens to be July 14th, 2025. Yeah, if you're finding this whenever you're finding it, the message is meant to find you. It is not date specific. But when I am recording this, I'm feeling very, very called to do a reading that I first did back in February of 2020. And the theme of this video is preparing for what's coming, a special message for uncertain times. So I'm getting this feeling we're at another powerful point, just like we were back then. We're on the brink of major shifts and changes and big events occurring. So I'm doing this reading to support all of you. And we're going to see what's coming up here for the collective. What energies, what is currently going on, the themes in the present energies as to what's prompting this video. Okay, we're getting the Hierophant here. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm going to speak in code for this one. So you can see this is the Hierophant, which represents spirituality, truth, not spiritual, not truth necessarily, but spirituality, spiritual systems, religions, dogma, belief, things like that. You'll see this person is wearing a mask, and it's interesting. In this deck, there's two different versions of the card. And so I'm getting they're hitting right at a very powerful theme coming in right off the bat. Is you see this little child here? The child behind this Hierophant. I think you can read between the lines. I'm trying to just be very careful with what I say given the platform I'm on. But one of the themes coming up is where we may be shifting away from organized structures, organized religions, organized belief systems that are meant to divide. And we're going to add the little innocent child here. Just as a comment, I will not get into that topic here, but you guys know what I am referring to. You see, there's a hidden child here behind this guy who's up there preaching to everybody, speaking of God, but he's wearing a mask and he's holding up hand signals. I mean, oh my word. Like where the spirit's just going for the jugular right now. I this is our let's just see what else is we're meant to see. So some of that being revealed, coming to light even more on a grand scale. What else is happening? And we are having the 10 of swords, the end, woohoo, right? The end of where we've been betrayed, ending of really challenging cycles, where we realize that we have been betrayed by our fears, our mindset, our beliefs, maybe by those who have betrayed us, maybe by those that have put ideas in our heads that perhaps are untrue or out of alignment with divine truth. Just always looking at the other side to see what this is. But I find it interesting that both of these cards are showing like this guy's got the armor and the armor is gone, but he's okay. The armor has protected him. And what I'm getting here is this is where if you have been betrayed, spirit and spiritual protection has helped you. It's like it may look like this person's gone, but guess what? He's not even in that armor anymore. But this is spiritual protection to me. And what I'm getting as well from both of these together is those of the Most High, those that are chosen, those that are pure light, are being protected on a major level spiritually right now and have been for a while. But not to worry if you are, it's like there's an innocence and a purity that spirit protects. This is the innocence of a soul. And what I'm getting is this energy of like this battle that's been fought soon coming to an end. the challenging times. Before I continue, I will be doing an extended where I'm going to be showing you how to navigate through this time by looking at how someone who is aligned with the light and the higher timeline would navigate through this situation versus how someone who isn't aligned with the light, how they may be experiencing the very same world we are experiencing, but in a very different way. So it's kind of like a way to check yourself to make sure you don't slip into mass consciousness, um, fear, and all of that. So that's going to be in the extended. And those of you that have the July all extendeds pass, you're going to have access to this already. It's going to be uploaded as soon as it's available. And also a quick announcement too, I am being very called to do a powerful activation event. Those of you that have attended my activation events in the past, you know what I'm talking about. This is where we gather and we work with a very specific group of people doing very specific grid work, light work, and transmutation of energies for not only yourself, but for the collective. And I have not done one since February. And I am being called to do one for the Lion's Gate. There's going to be two separate activations bookending the Lionsgate portal, which is going to be very focused on the energy of the masculine and the feminine, healing some of the past wounding around that. We're going to be working with Isis energy, but we are going to bring in the codes for both. We're going to anchor and integrate more of the codes, light codes for sacred masculine and sacred feminine warriors who are also now coming into sacred union. There will be more details forthcoming, so pay attention here and also to your emails. If you're on my email list, I will send out information. Spots are going to be limited because there's only a certain amount that the software will be able to accommodate on the live webinar event. But those of you that have attended before, you know there's a reason you keep coming back. So get ready for more announcements on that as well. What other themes do we have coming up around this energy? Okay, see, we're getting the Three of Swords. It's very interesting comparing it's as I'm recording this, it's raining here in Florida. But what I'm getting from this, especially comparing the backside of it, is where are we finally releasing the collective sadness and grief around where we have wounded ourselves, perhaps where we've been heartbroken, where we have felt sadness. And this is a very serious time. As much as a lot of my readings have been showing very beautiful energies coming through, we have to be cognizant that while what is occurring will be for the best and is for the best of all, it doesn't mean it doesn't come with sadness, grief, feeling of betrayal, feeling of sadness and disappointment. This is for the collective, where some truths may be very hard to hear. And if you aren't emotionally affected by some of the things that are have been, that you may know about, that maybe others don't know about yet, but when they do find out, it's going to be very devastating. Okay. And this is part of why I'm being shown for my activations. There is a very powerful, in the second activation we're going to be doing, it's going to be very much focused on the healing of the collective wounds and why we're here to assist others in the healing of those collective wounds that we've already processed and have been through in our own journeys. If you're watching my videos, you're not a beginner. You're not early on in your journey, or if you are, you're having a crash course and accelerated ascension here. But we're here to play a role to assist those where this is going to be shocking and devastating. So I'm seeing it coming through in the cards. So I don't want to make light of what is going to be going on, only because we know what's going on is for the best, and there will be beautiful blessings that come from the transition. However, it doesn't mean that there won't be some challenges in the meantime for those around us. So, what energy is coming towards us? Let's look at that. What energy is coming towards us right now? The Six of Cups. Wow. Unconditional love. Coming together with soulmates. Harmony. This is where soulmates find each other. Sacred partners find each other. You may feel like you come from two different worlds, but it's part of what brings you the harmony, is the complementary energies to yours. Interesting. This Six of Cups on the other side, which I did not pull, there's a guy standing there by himself looking out. And here she's arrived. She's swimming in the canal. She's a mermaid. He's like, "Hi, what's your name?" And if you guys have seen my July forecasts, you saw the middle of the month to the third week of the month was standing out very strongly, including with sacred union. So don't be surprised if suddenly someone from your past shows up. Granted, I think Mercury is in the shadow period of going retrograde again. So that is one thing people can return. However, this also means we can return back to home. This is why we're going to be working with Isis and, interestingly enough, Osiris, which I haven't worked with his energy directly before, but which is why it was interesting. It came in when I was in channeled meditation around what I'm supposed to do for the activation. And I was like, well, this is interesting. This will be a first. I've worked with Isis energy in the past, but never his. And I don't know much about him academically. Like, I haven't studied him. I've, have knowledge of Isis, but not a lot about him. Even though obviously they're a pair, I still didn't know. So it was interesting when it came through in channel. I was like, I'm gonna have to look that up. And sure enough, now I see why. But anyway, that is what we have coming in. What else do we have coming in the energies? Interesting. It's the sun. Okay. I'm trying to not be direct because I can't stand that I can't speak directly, but you guys understand why. Interesting that this is the sun card, but it came in the reverse where the sun's kind of missing here. So the energy of the sun is very powerful. But if there's anything that's sort of blacked out or dark that comes forward, not to worry. And we'll see. I don't know if that's, there's a lot of talk about all of those things, and whoever really knows. But I find it fascinating that even if things go a little dark or the sky looks a little dark, right? Many of you have been having major storms in all over, and my heart goes out to anybody who's been affected by the crazy flash flooding that's everywhere. Absolutely, like, sending prayers. It's devastating. But this is the sun card. And so remember that even if things kind of look dark or they don't look as sunny, it is the sun energy. What else is coming towards us? And obviously, not obviously, the sun is very connected to this time of year. You guys can hear the thunder. What else is on its way in? the Knight of Wands. Gosh, this is amazing. To me, this is like, it's interesting to look at both sides, right? So here's the Knight of Wands in a desert. There's pyramids behind him. But here he's being led by the stars. And there's a transmutation energy here, the Phoenix energy. So a rebirth energy surrounding the Knight of Wands, which is a reignition of passion, a reignition of purpose, an ignition of our cosmic purpose. And obviously, the Lionsgate portal, which is coming up soon here, has to do with the alignment of Sirius with the pyramids in Egypt, in Giza, with Orion's belt. And I just find it fascinating, the difference here, because here are the pyramids behind him in the desert in the daytime, but it came in like this. So to me, there's a major activation coming, but an alignment with passion and purpose for all of us. So what energies are going to be supporting us and challenging us? How will we be supported cosmically in the near future here? What do we need to know? Interesting. We're getting the devil with his back to us. The world. The end of the illusion. The age of enlightenment. Followed by the Two of Wands. Timeline split. I'm sorry. If you've never, okay, if you, timeline split in 3 cards. Here we go. Choose the path of the devil, which is all about illusion, manipulation, obsession, addictions. Or do you want to choose the path of enlightenment? Because that's what the Two of Wands is about. You're at a crossroads. You got to take action on which path you're going to choose. I mean, this is enlightenment. I'm sorry, timeline split in 3 cards. You couldn't make this more clear if I tried. I couldn't. So we're gonna be supported to choose the higher timeline, or we can choose to stay in the lower timeline. You know, seeing the devil for who he is. Those who worship that energy, many forms of that energy, right? Those that are driven by that energy, those that are ruled by that, those that are that. Or do you want to be enlightened? This is the World card. It's the last card of the major arcana, and this is enlightenment. Absolutely beautiful, having all the elements, everything in harmony, everything in unison, everything in the light and of the heavens, of the divine. This is the underworld. No, thank you. I ain't choosing that one. So I'm sure you don't want to either, but this is where those that have chosen it are going to get their justice. So what is going to be challenging us during this time? The Death card. I mean, read into that what you want. It doesn't always mean literal. DEATH. However, what's supposed to end is supposed to end. Some things are meant to be done once and for all. Because interesting, the Death card on the other side has the Sun. So what's challenging is that some things that the endings may be challenging. So let's see what else may be challenging us around this time. Interesting. It's the Knight of Pentacles. What I'm feeling is that for some of us, it's going to feel very, very slow moving. Even though things are moving forward, they're moving forward slowly. I feel like the energies may be fast, but maybe things will be slow. For others, this could be a challenge when it comes to feeling that whatever action is being taken is going to be successful. That could be a challenge. I think it's interesting. Both of these two that have come out so far are riding horses. I feel that for some people, one of the challenges could be in believing in the sincerity of certain people or certain actions or certain events. Let me add another card to what this relates to. What else may be challenging us specific to the Knight of Pentacles? Why is he here? Nine of Cups. Yeah, Steve remaining hopeful. Like, yeah, it's just, it feels very connected to the masculine, like collective masculine energy around authority, around, structures, positions of authority, governments, whatever that is. And for some people, it may be hard to um again, I can't not speak this because it's coming through, but it's also, you guys have your discernment, only take this if it resonates. But what might be challenging here has to do with, people when there's timeline splits can choose to stay or they can choose to go on a soul level. And that may be hard for those of us that choose to stay. And that doesn't even mean necessarily stay in the physical, but this could mean sort of like the divide, right? Nobody knows what that's going to look like. I think there's multiple timelines and frequencies that exist, and depending on which one you embody will determine what you experience around you, even though they're both coexisting at the same time, if that makes sense. Probably doesn't, but and I think for some people it may be hard to um, deal with the sadness and disappointment of maybe things that are ending. And lastly, we've got the Eight of Wands, the intensity, right? The storm. Clear skies or clearer skies, stormy skies. If you're watching my work and you're still at the end of this video and you haven't clicked off, it's because you have endured a lot of the pain of the storms. You've been through many storms. But for the collective, this may be a very big one. And so it's important when it is storming out that we just have to do the best to protect our energy. So I'm heading over to the extended where I'm going to go really in depth into how to really stay in alignment during this intensity. But for those not going over to the extended, I'm going to leave you with a guidance message. It's most important to keep in mind to stay in alignment at this time. The end of a tough cycle approaches, the full moon in Capricorn. So it's interesting because I recorded a video and an extended over the weekend that I did not post. And it had to do with tropical versus sidereal astrology. And while Western astrology, tropical says we just had the full moon in Capricorn on July 10th, sidereal says we just had the full moon in Sagittarius. I did a whole video talking about alignment with and slight like the differences in terms of, well, not the differences between them, right? I'm not an astrologer, but I find it fascinating that we are kind of in between. If you're looking at sidereal Vedic astrology, we are in the period leading up to the full moon in Capricorn, as that's going to be the next full moon that we have. And so, kind of feeling like it's not quite done, but there's that devil energy, right? Capricorn energy. But we're nearing the end. We're soon to release that tough cycle. We're going to break out of the old structures and into the new, beautiful, abundant, peaceful, harmonious ones. All right, beautiful friends. Do stay tuned for the announcement on the activation events, and I'll see some of you in the extended. And again, if you have the July All Extendeds Pass, you already have this. It will be uploaded as well, which you can certainly simply just get the extended on your own. You don't need the pass at all, but I hope this helps, my beautiful friends. Stay in your power. Until next time, bye.